they're also my actual veterinarian. That's Dr. Katie True. And so she's sort of our guinea pig to discuss some of this SEO. Really quick, for those that don't know, I don't have a background in veterinary medicine. I do love animals, but I do have a background in technical support and networking, and so that's where my interest lies, and hopefully I'll be able to help out a little bit with this. Okay, so what we're going to start doing, and I'll include some notes here as well. We're going to follow along with some of the things that are available on our help site, including the content, image descriptions, and the Google presence. But before I start with that, I'm going to talk about more of a general idea of how SEO works. A lot of people think that SEO is just keywords, some stuff with Google. It's actually two large areas. One of them, which is on-site SEO, which is everything that you can do onto your website. The content, the locations. Like for example, here she's got these locations that she services, things like that. How the site is put together, as well as some of the stuff that's a little under the hood, like these things, the titles, descriptions, and things like that. Now, in addition to that, there's also off-site SEO, and so where that comes from is from sources like this, where there are incoming links to the website. So, for example, if we do this one here, we can see just how many links are going to the website, how many links are actually connecting their sites to the website for the doctor. And so in this case, she's got a fairly great presence. This company, Moz, they obviously are selling stuff, but this interface is great, so I use this often. Moz does a lot of stuff with search engines. They put on seminars, have materials, continuing education for SEO geeks and for web folks. And so here, the doctor has kind of an arbitrary score, but in general it means that they're doing really well. So for example, here we've got her site is consistent, midtownanimalhospital.com. We've got the consistent address and consistent phone number. So if those things are, the same across different platforms, here you see Google+, Super Pages, etc., that'll help out. When there's inconsistency, so for example on this YP page, it won't hurt you, but it certainly won't help. You want to have this consistency over that. So again, there's these two big areas here. Part of it is the actual content on the site, and the other is the off-site SEO. So since we're talking about this right now, I'll go ahead and dive in a little bit on this. A lot of folks don't know that just the links to your page from other pages, will improve it. But it's not just any link; it's links that come from a reputable source. So if you just say to a fellow veterinarian, "Hey, let's go ahead and trade links," that counts a little bit, but it doesn't count as much as if you were to get, for example, a link from your local paper, maybe winning some sort of an award, a local Little League that you sponsor, some sort of connections to your community. If you have a company that's in Pennsylvania and another one that's in California, they're linking to one another, there's not too much of a connection to the consumer. Not something that the consumer can make heads or tails out of. On the other hand, if you have connections to other local businesses, then that makes more sense, and Google views that with a positive on a positive note. I'm going to go ahead and fire up a program here, Google Webmaster Tools. It's a free program. we can certainly add it to yours if you don't have it. And in this case, I'm going to look for Midtown. And we've added this for quite a bit of sites, so you may see yourself on here. Okay. Google Webmaster Tools is a free program that'll track visitors to your site, search terms, things like that. And again, if you don't have it, please let me know. The image is blurry. Which one? Just the image in general? Let me see here. Oh, okay. Thank you. I had a question from Barbara. Thank you very much. Okay. So back to this business with Google Webmaster Tools. Google Webmaster Tools is a free program, great resource, lets you communicate directly to Google and let them know things like, well, here's how many how many pages we've got. Here's how many clicks people are getting. You can also do things like literally tell them to do the work for you. Hey, come on by. We want you to index the page. I did this a little bit after Christmas, and so. And what you can do here is they actually give you clues as to, they'll tell you straight up what it is that they are looking for. Within their guidelines, they've got some help on how to go ahead and do these things. So this is a great resource. In addition, we can go ahead and find out, under search traffic, the things that are important to them. So for example here, mobile usability, that's important. All the eVetSites websites are mobile friendly, so you shouldn't have a problem with this. International targeting, this is just kind of telling people where, which country you're in. If you're in Canada, then, you want to target Canadians. Here, I'm going to go ahead and target people in the United States. In addition, they look kindly on internal links. So these are links that are connecting documents and pages within the site itself. I'll get more to that in a second. And also the links to your site. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about off-site SEO. So here are all these different pages, super pages, Google, Facebook, YP. And when we have those links pointing in, you see a great number of them here. And so this is literally half of what the SEO is all about. If you have organizations that can put a link in there, if you're mailing out email to people, this is a small trick but a very useful one. If you have folks that are emailing out clients, see how we've got this kind of default signature file here, and maybe they use Outlook or something. But it would be even better if instead we had the name of the practice here. That way, people can go ahead and click on that link, and that's one more location where people can find you. So you can put something like this. Or even if you don't want to put that in there, you've got the page ready to go. And so now it's always easy for people to go ahead and to then you start the email, and you've got this down at the bottom so people can click on it. Everywhere you can put that in, do it, on your business cards, on your print materials, You know, if you're posting on Facebook, you know, those are the things that count. If you notice here, we've got yellow pages. There's a couple of other URLs in here: WordPress, Yellowbot, newsreview.com. Oh, so look at this. Now I know that this is a local kind of, you know, those kind of political local papers. So probably what happened is they had a link to Midtown Animal Hospital somewhere in there. I know because, you know, I walk by a coffee shop every day, that these guys do these kind of best of issues. And so it's in all likelihood they received some sort of an award for that, which is great. They should probably find the exact one and then, you know, brag about it, like voted, you know, best vet or whatever. And oh, that's a little bit too big of a. Okay, but back to this. If you don't have Google Webmaster Tools, let us know. Shoot us an email, support@eVetSites.com, or just let me know, and I'll be glad to set that up for you. The other portion of it that I was discussing here with this Moz, there's other sites like this. Our partners in VinX have something that's similar to this. Basically, all we're doing is checking if you're listed in these different directories. And there's other lists out there as well. This one is just a simple one, moz.com/local. You put in your business name, you put in your address or your zip code, and then it'll go ahead and bring you back a score. Now, just to give you an example of how this works, we've got some other, let me see here, what's this one? I have some folks that are working on, where did I put this one? Epping Road, that's it. I have some other clients that this lady here at this practice started last year, right around this time. I mean, literally signed up, you know, the 1st of January, we started doing some work, and it took a couple of months for everything to show up. They were at 0%. They're now at 63%, and they still can go higher if they just jump in and do some more of these. I've helped them with the Google. I've done the Facebook. I think on their own they did a couple of these other ones, Super Pages, Info Group, and whatnot. But they, you know, they came out, they built this thing from scratch. There was a, this is just not even a, this is a brand new building here. So they created a new practice, you know, hired the staff, got everything done, and this is a great story to just kind of illustrate how you can get a good presence out there, but it does take a little bit of time. In our case, we started last year in January, February, March, about April is when they got to about, you know, 20–30%, and we've been playing phone tag. Not to put her on blast, but we've been playing phone tag, and we probably could get this higher if we're consistent and we keep at it. Now, the verification process for this, getting your presence on these different things, is not difficult. It's just a little tedious. So, for example, you know, Hot Frog, if we were going to go in here, there's no listing for some of these. If you wanted to get one, you can click this button, and then you wait, and nothing happens. But there's these different places where you log in to create the site. So, for example, and so again, you know how to claim your business. Sign up an account. And so then you can go ahead and a lot of these are similar. You got to pick a username, you pick a password, and the most difficult part is just keeping track of all these ding-dang passwords that you're creating for these different sites. Once you do it once, you don't have to worry about it. So if you feel that you're not being represented, or you feel like you've done everything on the site to SEO it out and you still want to do more, there's always this half of things. I normally start with the content and move over here. This week I'm kind of switching it up just because this is something that I get asked about quite a bit, especially when people have wrong listings too. The Google Plus listing is one of the most important ones, because this feeds into your YouTube account, the maps, and the reviews. So for example, let me go ahead and do one. And this is done at business.google.com. Now, I manage a couple of them here in my spare time. I do some work here for these guys. And so you can do things like manage services. You can verify it, and then you can respond to things. So find out, like, maybe if somebody left a review, which, believe it or not, people still leave good reviews and bad reviews and things that are not nice. You can add photos. So you can change logos and cover sheets and all sorts of stuff like that. And then they'll give you some great insights on data, how people have found you, what folks have used to get to you, things like that. So if you're going to do anything, any one page out of all the ones that are listed, business.google.com, claim your business for sure. That's the very first thing I would do. If you already have it, then we keep moving. Do Bing, do super pages, YP, and so forth. Yelp, even though they're not nice, sometimes there's people that will leave bad reviews. You still want to at least be there to respond. I had a doctor the other day, close friend to Vin, one of our consultants. Somebody had left him a terrible review, and it wasn't even for his practice. They had him confused with another practice, and they had left this scathing review. So he called me. He's like, Jose, I need to get into my account so that I can respond to them. And when he finally got everything sorted out, he was then able to go ahead and respond to the reviews that were left on his account. And so let me go ahead and look at this. You see here we've got the Google reviews. Here's all the nice things that people have said. And as you can see, there's responses. And this is really good because this shows that there's an actual human being there. You're not going to be able to make every single person happy, but you can certainly mitigate the damage if somebody says something unkind. And other people, reasonable people, are going to look at that and say, hey, look, they tried. They're going to read it and they're going to say, look, here's all these great reviews. Of the 10 reviews, most of these are good. And then there's this, there's this one person here. And all the rest of them are great. 5, 5, 5, 5. And so it's just the one person. And so you can see that they responded. This is textbook example of how to do it. They just laid it all out there and gave the story, and they were kind in doing so. All this sort of thing, the very first step again is to take control of it using your Google presence. And then also the other cool things that you can do is you can move stuff like the little dot. Maybe it's in the wrong spot. It needs to be on this side of the street, or you need to change it. Here it says clinic, but it's actually hospital. So, things like that. Because here it says hospital, but here it says clinic. Maybe they want to change that. I don't know. I know that it's been clinic for as long as I remember, but recently they've been moving toward this kind of hospital business. So who knows what's going on? Oh, this is because I'm looking at the wrong one. This is the Davis one. Okay. Anyone have any questions about what we've covered so far? And this, again, this is just a really cursory thing. We can go far more in depth if we set up a one-on-one. And there's a the good thing is that there's lots of areas of opportunity, as they say in the corporate world. There's lots of places where you can do things to affect your search, and they're all free. That's something that I hadn't really touched on, but all this stuff is free. You do not have to pay for anything. Obviously, you're paying for your computer and your internet connection, but logging in, setting up the accounts, taking control of these things, there's no charge for any of this stuff. Okay, so let me go ahead and close this out. I kept getting, we got a question. Oh, this is important. When I try to claim my business on Google, I keep getting rejected, I think because I'm a mobile practice. Okay, let me pause for a second. I'm going to answer this question. This is someone with a mobile practice. Excellent point. We've got, and this is brick and mortar, obviously, literally, there's the bricks right there. We do have some clients that are both house call and mobile. I know there's a difference. Let me, all right, so this is another client of mine. Nice folks. I'm going to talk about these. And we still can claim your business. So if it's a house call, that's what these folks do. They don't have a rig or anything like that. They'll show up to folks in Newport Richey, Florida, and these surrounding areas. Okay, so how I did theirs, and it's a little tricky because they didn't want their home address to show up. Is it this one? Let's check. You can use a mobile business on Google. There is a way to do it, but in order to do it, when you're setting it up, you have to put in some sort of an address, like for billing, either a P.O. box or a home address. But there is a way of hiding it. So, for example, let's look at these guys, and this is a good chance for me to check up on them since I haven't spoken with them in a little bit here, a couple of weeks. They were at 0%. We're now at 41%, and this is after about a month, 2 months of work, and we've been really digging in. Not to toot my own horn, it's just this is we've had a lot of phone calls. There's been a lot of communication back and forth, and as you can see, now why is it Google incomplete? We signed up for Bing. Now, this is their home address. It's visible there, which I'm surprised that it's doing this at home, because when I do, all right, so here is the practice, how it shows up. We did a little map, and then kind of showing the coverage area. We can certainly do this for you. Create some sort of a map that shows the coverage area. And as you notice here, it just has the URL, a picture, and there's no address. There's no home address. And so there is a way of doing that, because there are businesses besides house call vets, and I mean there's delivery services. There's home repair folks, plumbers and things of that nature. Folks that come out and do things at your location. So please, let me see, I'm just going to make a note. We'll get you straightened out, Doctor. There is a way of doing that. It is a little trickier just because you're a mobile practice, but it's not impossible. And we'll both have to get on the phone. We'll do a team viewer session so you can see my screen and we're both logged in. and I'm confident we can do it. Just like, and then you'll have something nice like this, where there's a little map, and you can then go ahead and log in and get to see it. And again, you know, depending on how much work you put in, you can get this score up and then start seeing some results. The funny thing about those other folks that I was showing you earlier, the Epping Road, we were you know, at first they had a lot of time, and then now, you know, I had an appointment yesterday. They rescheduled it. They're getting to that point where they're so busy with people coming in, which is a fantastic problem to have, right? I want every one of my clients to have that issue. They're too busy to talk to me, and that's a great problem. That's kind of the goal that we're all working towards. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch gears for a second. We are talking about, so all that I've just described there, taking control of your presence, Google, Bing, Yahoo, Facebook, social media, all that stuff, that'll all help. That's all off-site SEO. The stuff that we're going to talk about now is your on-site SEO. This is what most people know about. You know, how is it that Google can find you? What are the things that you put on your website? You know, what can you do to really show up for certain terms? Well, the easiest thing is that content is still kind of the top dog for this. If you have good content on your site, you will rank high. And you also have to format the data so that it's useful, accessible information. This right here, it's pretty straightforward. They're located in Midtown Sacramento for 50 years. Full-service animal hospital. And here, she talks about the communities that she services. Now, there's other places in between there. I know because I've been, you know, Sacramento's my adopted hometown. Well, actually, I live across the river now, but I've lived there for many years. There's other communities there, Oak Park, North Highlands, Rio Linda, and she just happens to put these in there. You know your community, you know the areas that you service. For the doctor that was the mobile house call, you know which zip codes you service and which areas you'll go to and which ones are a little too far, where, you know, just the gas and then the hassle may not make it worthwhile. So if we have a follow-up discussion, you know, jot those communities down. They don't have to necessarily be even an actual, you know, community that's on a map. Maybe if there's a nickname and it's family friendly, you can put that on there. She certainly could have used Sacto. Maybe calling it the People's Republic of Davis might be a little too inside jokey, but you know, there's certainly nicknames and acronyms and things that you can do. Tri-state area or whatever, Bay Area, Northern Bay Area, Greater Sacramento region, anything like that, that'll help out. So the content itself is the important thing, and then the number of times that it shows up is important. So if we have Sacramento here, then we want to make sure that it's kind of repeated throughout. So here we're talking about the things that they do, but they also, in the contact us, you'll see that we've kind of reused that phrase, right? For driving directions to Midtown Animal Hospital, from Midtown, West Sac, Davis, and again, there's other communities. There's certainly plenty of other places. She's just chose to put those in, and maybe there's others that she'd like to as well. So here's a little map of Sacramento. Here's where I live, way over here on this side of the river. So it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to you know, hop over the bridge and go see the doctor. Now, if you want to come up for certain areas or certain procedures, certain things that you do, then you want to put those in the corresponding page. Does everyone on this call know what a word cloud is? So a word cloud is just kind of a graphical thing. You've probably seen things like these. all these different kind of, yeah, this one looks fun, UFO, Air Force, sightings, reports. So there's all these different word clouds that people will create. You got to think about, what are the terms that you want to show up for? If it's a location, maybe if it's for, maybe it's for a service that you do. Maybe it's for a type of, I don't know, maybe medication that you offer. Whatever the case may be, spay and neutering services, boarding. There's a lot of places that have really nice boarding facilities. I've seen some really nice kennels and play areas and things like that. If those are things, shampooing, all that sort of stuff. Those are all great things to share and to talk about. Don't just kind of assume that just because you mention it once, repeat it. You have to toot your horn. So here we're talking about the services, spaying and neutering. There's a whole page on here. The content is super important. Have it repeat the term, kind of restate the obvious. People will sometimes skim over stuff. I'm not saying to talk like a robot, but definitely kind of restate things, and that'll help out. So for example here, we've got a link on the home page, and it sends people to the contact. So we have Sacramento included, probably throughout the site because they're located in Sacramento. If you're not sure if your site's going to show up for something, there is a way to check. So maybe you're not doing so well for Sacramento. Let's just say, if you do this, and let me slow down so I can do this again. Site, colon, and then your domain name, just like that. If you put that into Google, you'll see a listing of pages as Google views them. Now, and this will work for your page or any other page. I mean, you can use this on Nike or Apple.com or whatever. So if you do this and then the search term, it'll show you all the places where it shows up. So it shows up on 30 pages, which is fantastic. We want it to show up on as many pages as possible. Probably if we do a search for so here she is on the first page, number 4 for that search term. Don't worry too much about if you are on the first page. That's really the goal. I know if people say, "Oh, you need to be number 1." That you can't nail it down that way. If you ever talk to an SEO person that says, "Well, we're going to guarantee that you're going to be number 1," hold on to your wallet really tight. It's a very difficult thing to guarantee that. I can tell people, yeah, if we have a chat and we discuss this, we can improve your situation, we can improve your SEO. But there's no way that I can guarantee number 1 because I have no idea what these guys over at MySacMed are doing. They might have an SEO person over there working on them just as hard. And so what happens when that arrives? If there's 2, then it's not going to work. And then on top of that, Google's always changing up their algorithms. They're always changing things. So that's something else to know. Okay. Anyone have any questions about content? Just adding the terms on the site. You're not going to be able to include the areas on every page. I like to do it on the Contact Us and the About Us pages. It's going to be a little tricky to put that under spay and neuter. I mean, I suppose you could say, we have an overpopulation of cats here, but you have to be specific to where it is. This is a page where you're going to discuss, the benefits of spaying and neutering. This is the main thing here. And so this is the focus. This is what you're going to go ahead and do. The second thing is your images. Okay, this is a very simple thing. Every image that you have is an excuse to kind of bolster what's on the page. If you're logged into your site and you go to Edit Content, double-click on the image, and you'll see this thing called an image description. What I've done is I've done a short description of what this image is. Midtown Animal Hospital, veterinarian serving West Sac Davis, blah, blah. So I'm repeating and reinforcing the content that's on here. If this was a picture of the doctor, I would say, Dr. Katie Chu, our veterinarian. There was the name of a vet tech, hey, here's Sam, our vet tech. Or if it's a mobile practice, then you can say, well, here's the areas that we cover, and then you can include a map. There's a lot of different things, a lot of directions you can go. Again, the text will show up. It's very, very mellow. It'll show up if you kind of mouse over. Here is how to do it if you want it more in depth. I'll put the link here in the chat window just for everyone can see. And again, for staff member or practice manager Joe, for equipment, and it's in California. For images on your home page, veterinarian serving town, village, neighborhood, and borough, welcome to our site. So there's always something you can do, and every image is different, but every image is an opportunity to add text. So for example, on the About Us, about Midtown Animal Hospital. So we're repeating Sacramento again, right? And for the Contact Us page, oh, so here we go. I just used that thing again. So thank you. So you can see that there's information here, contact info, driving directions from all these different communities. You don't have to stick to this exact format, but in general, you just want to have what the image is about, and you're trying to reinforce the content on that page. It's a picture of a syringe. You can't really put in serving the communities of A, B, C, and D. You want to say, we offer, offering latest medications, or if it's a picture of a, laser surgery or something. So keep it related to what's on that page, what the image is about, and this is going to increase the word count. It'll help you out because SEO isn't just about the home page. When you're looking at the stuff on the content of your page, it's everything. All these pages, not the hidden pages, but all the pages that are visible to Google. Google is making just a big bucket with all the words, the content, the images, and it's just putting them in there. And so those are going to show up if you have if you have it formatted correctly and you have the terms showing up enough. So somebody that has Sacramento and veterinarian on every page of their site, and they've got 30 pages, they're going to do well. Somebody that has it on just a couple, maybe they won't rank as high as Dr. True. She's obviously got a bit of a head start. She's had this website for a long time, and one, there's dozens of ranking factors, ranking signals. Some of them are kind of, I don't want to say they're impossible, but they're kind of hard to do once you've already started. One of them is how long a domain has been around. So if anyone on the call has a new practice, don't be depressed by that. That's not the be-all, end-all. There's plenty of other ranking signals out there, but they're just giving them a little bit of a not a punishment or not a reward, kind of like for professors, a little bit of tenure. So there's other things out there. Let me see if I have this thing bookmarked. All right, so these guys have a list. Domain age, there we go. A keyword appears in the domain. So what's the name of the practice? Does it say, home care? Or does it say, town plus vet? Those sorts of things. Registration, how long they've been around. The domains, keywords and title tags. Title tag starts with keyword. Let's talk about the keywords. Google no longer uses the meta tag keyword. which is okay, sorry about that. Lost my train of thought for just a second. Okay, so when you're looking at these different signals, don't worry about any one being the magic bullet or taking away from that. So if you're logged into your site and you go to Edit menu, you'll see these things here. They're called the titles. All right. So I'm gonna, and I'm probably gonna wrap up with the title descriptions and stuff because it looks like we're running out of time here. But if you remember, I had this page open. And this is, again, how Google looks at your site. Now, I'm going to show you something. See, if you look at this, you'll see a little bit of familiarity here. And it's almost as though the stuff in the title is this big blue mark right here. See how it says Sacramento Veterinarian, Veterinary? And it says it right here, Sacramento Veterinarian, Veterinary. So what this does is this title is the big blue writing. So it's important that it be filled out as much as possible. You've got the name of the practice, your location, and what the page is about. That in general is the best practice right there. And then this next part here, you can't see it here because this is the home page, and the home page is usually blank. But this thing is called the slug, the page slug. So for example, let's look at About Us. Do we have one here? No. Links, FAQs, services. All right, so let's look at services. Now this is kind of short. See here how it just says services, Midtown Animal Hospital? We can change this. We could probably add, and the way to improve this, the way to get a better thing out of this is to include the name of the practice. So the next time that Google comes by, not only will people say, hey, well, where are these guys even located? Oh, they're here. And then they'll see that. On the other hand, this right here doesn't really tell people where you're located. If this page came up in a search, there's nothing here that tells you where the practice is, just that they are offering some sort of services. And you have a vague idea. On the other hand, if you see that it says Sacramento, California, then you know that it's the right one. Because, as you saw, there's also a Midtown Hospital here in Davis. And so you don't want these getting confused. You want to have them the same. So I've got a little how-to on this one as well. And as always, I invite everyone to have the one-on-one call with me. Here's how it appears in Google. We've got the title, we've got the slug, we've got the description. And so, we can talk about the different things that you can put on there. Note that in this last example, it truncates it around the 60, 70 character mark. We've got a system that will, if you start to type stuff in there, it runs out and it turns red. So this kind of tells you in general how long you have. You can go over it. That's not, no bad things are going to happen. You'll get the ellipsis here, but you'll still rank for whatever is behind it. Now, on the other hand, if you're ranking for something behind the ellipsis and people can't see it, that doesn't really help. So then you need to make sure that you touch on it a little bit here as well. And so, again, if you do this site colon your domain name, you'll see which pages need help. So I'm going to save this one. And here's one for employment. Oh, I might as well do it here. Yeah, look at that. Nothing. Maybe they're not looking for anyone right now, but at least we've got Sacramento showing up. And so on. By default, I'll get myself in trouble here with our older clients. By default, all the newer templates will have a certain degree of SEO built in, where you'll have the name of the practice, your location, and then what the page is built into the titles. On the older accounts, they're not always like that. If you need help with that, let us know, and I can show you how to go ahead and modify those. But in general, there's nothing technical here. You're just putting the name of the practice, your location, and what that particular page is about. Not technical again. You hit the edit menu button, you change it, and you hit save. But now the big part is that it's going to reflect here. Okay, so let's talk about this. Maybe you've done the change here, but it hasn't changed here. If you've ever done a search, whether you do the site thing or you're just looking at a regular page, if you click this little triangle, you'll get the cached version. A little bit of time travel. It just kind of shows you how the page was at a point in time. So for example, they haven't come by since December 2nd. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Google, hey, come check it out. We've updated it since. And I have that ability inside of this Google Webmaster Tools. Now, if you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. You just say, hey, Jose, we updated the page. Can you let Google know? And if we have this installed, yes, of course. So I'm going to fetch it, put him to work just like a dog. So we're just going to crawl this URL. So we've requested indexing. Now, it's not always, I've seen it happen anywhere from a couple of minutes to a couple of hours, never more than a day at the latest. It's super fast, and it is so cool to then see that reflected. Yeah, it's still not here. If I do it www, if that makes a difference. I'll do the regular one. Now look at this. This one still hasn't changed, but if I go to the www, January 18th. So it has changed for them. So now it says Sacramento. That's one more location. So they're, that's one small step forward ahead of the competition. Again, maybe those guys are doing the same thing, but you do what you can. The rest of these tags here, the description and the slug. The slug should be important. This is it should be a short, 1 or 2 word description of what the page is about. And the reason that the slug is important is because that's how it shows up for mobile. As you see here, here's the eVetSites version if you were to pull it up on like an iPhone. And so Google uses that slug as kind of a placeholder, kind of a link. It'll kind of tell people also the site structure. So here's eVetSites.com/contact info, website design, about eVetSites. Okay. And finally, the description should be something that also appears in the search engine results. You can go into a little more depth than you do on the title. You can only, you stick to using the words that are on the page itself. If you don't use those, then Google gets a little testy. This is true. All this stuff here is true. But it'd be nice if instead you can use something like this instead, because this is actually, this kind of gets to the heart of the matter. We offer a wide range of veterinary services, right? If you were to put something in there like this, all right, you're not going to rank very well because Google's going to look for those terms and it's not going to find them, right? So you want to, and you know, I'm joking around. This is I repeat these jokes often, but I see people put stuff in there, you know, veterinary laser free, and that's not going to help. You want to have conversational English, little sentences, little snippets that kind of tell people what you do. Because remember, it's going to be humans that are going to read this. When you look at these sites, this is the description right here. So if you know somebody does a search for, I don't know, let's do veterinary website hosting. So here we are. And then what are these guys saying? Compelling. Sure, whatever you say. These guys have affordable. So there's lots of different little snippets that you can do, but you want it to have English in there, conversational English, because again, you're speaking to people, not machines. The machines are looking for the words individually, but people are looking for the sentences comprised of those words. We're having a conversation. Well, it's really just me talking, but you know, I'm not just saying, you know, keyword relevance, Google, ranking signals, Google Analytics, Google Webmaster Tools. I'm forming the sentences and trying to put them together, and hopefully I'm conveying some information that'll be useful. And so when you're building these descriptions, have just a short snippet of what's on that page. And that's for every page. You try not to repeat them. See, look, this one, again, same thing. So they're recycling this here, but really we should look at the content on the page. So you can do something like this. This gives people a little more information about the page it's about, I think. They could also use an image here to kind of boost it. There's not much, so it doesn't have, you know, it's only like a paragraph, so there's not a lot of content here. A picture could certainly bolster whatever it is they're talking about, and it's another opportunity to then include that. Okay, we're coming up against the clock. There's a lot more that we can talk about. We've barely scratched the surface really in terms of the content and everything, but I wanted to at least just give a brief overview so you could see these are the things that we can help. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we've covered? And I know it's been a bit. It's really more to kind of just show folks that it's not so technical, and to hopefully use this as an opportunity for us to lead to other conversations where we can have one-on-ones. Okay. I would like to invite everyone on the call then. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up today. I'd like to invite everyone to like us on social media, twitter.com/eVetSites, instagram.com/eVetSites, and facebook.com/eVetSites. We're on all these platforms, and we'd love to chat with you about that. And to the doctor with the mobile practice, I'll reach out to you after the call, or if you want to reach out to me and we can set up a time. I've got a little how-to or a little reminder for myself, and we can get that issue with Google squared away. I'm confident of it. Otherwise, thank you all very much. Appreciate all the questions and appreciate everyone spending time. Join us next week. We will have another one where we'll talk just about general usage with the editor. And thank you all again.